Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Ministry Moments. Lord willing, every Friday, 3 o'clock Central Time, we'll come to you with Ministry Moments. If you'll go to Ministry Moments YouTube, Bob Gray Sr., and subscribe there, you'll get it every week. That way you could look at a convenient time for you. I know you're busy. There's 168 hours in a week, and you can schedule it for some time. Then Ministry Moments podcast, go to your favorite podcast supplier and you'll be able to get Ministry Moments there. Also Ministry Moments, my favorite one, Ministry Moments, solvechurchproblems.com. And if you'll go, there's a lot more there than just the podcast. That'll be a blessing and a help to you. I have a blog there I put up every week, and you'll be interested in that. I think be a help to you. Straighten my tie out here. What's the matter with that tie? Okay, boys and girls, today, this may be a sensitive subject. I don't know, but I'm going to talk to you about homeschooling. Now, look, before you get that antenna up, and let me say this, I'm for the Christian school, especially in this day and time where the Egyptian schools, oh my goodness, transgender. Can you imagine teaching the grade school kids about gender? Unbelievable. And it's tough enough as it is trying to raise your children without them sitting off for 8 hours or how many hours during the day at a public school and then have them come back with a bunch of nonsense in their head. And especially the closer they get to being teenagers, the tougher it is. So I'm for Christian education. So don't think this subject that I'm going to cover today means I'm not for Christian education. I am. I've seen enough. I want to help you. Okay. All right. Homeschooling. Number one, seek counsel and advice from your pastor. You should be a member of an independent Baptist church, and you need to seek advice and counsel before you do this. Before you decide to homeschool, you go sit down and talk with the pastor. You seek advice from him and counsel from him. Number two, don't do it to escape the expense. Don't do it to escape the expense. You get what you pay for. And if you think you're going to save money by going to a Becca or Bob Jones material or whatever's out there, if you think you're going to save money, you're not going to save money. And if you did save money, it'd be at the expense of your kids' education. So I said, number one, seek counsel and advice from your pastor. Let him guide you on this decision, homeschooling or not homeschooling. Number two, don't do it. If you're thinking this is going to save me $1,000 a month, you forget it. You got to pay an electric bill and you got to pay tuition. That's the way I looked at it. And by the way, I paid for tuition for my kids because I pastored the church. Did not meet. You just see my coat. I pastored, but I paid. Miss Gray and I paid for our kids to go to Christian school. There was no freebie at all. We paid just like everybody else paid, and we felt the pain just like everybody else felt the pain. But you look at, we had 2 boys, 2 girls, man. I don't want them and they're all, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of all 4 kids. We've got 10 grandchildren, 12 great grandchildren. Can you believe that? And, but they love God. Are they perfect? No, they're like their mother. That's the reason they're not perfect. No, none of them are perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm closer than they are. But anyway, number one, seek counsel and advice from the pastor. How about homeschooling? Number two, don't do it to escape the expense. Number three, if either parent is not qualified, don't do it. Oh, I've seen tragedies. Parents are trying to save money. I don't know what in the world they were thinking. But both of them, I remember one couple, both got their GED. That's all they had. And then they're going to try to help their kids, homeschool them and be the hands-on teacher and facilitator of academics. I don't think so. Homeschooling. I said, one, seek advice and counsel from your pastor. You should be, and if you're not a member of an independent Baptist church, King James Bible, Hellfire, if you're not, then I would suggest to you, you find you a church before you start thinking about Christian education. Then number two, don't do it and to escape the expense of it. All right. Number three, homeschooling. If either parent is not qualified, don't do it. If dad's not qualified, mom's not qualified, don't do it. There's got to be somebody who is the educator the facilitator of academics has got to know what they're doing. Number 4, have discipline. I know some homeschoolers, bless their hearts, they're done by noon. How can you do that? How can you be done by noon? If I were you, I'd set me some hours. Say if your school starts at 8, then have your homeschool start at 8. They take a lunch break at 12, then you take a break. They quit at 3, then you quit at 3. You're such a manipulator with time that your kids are going to pay the price for it. So I would have the same hours that you had in your Christian school. Number 1, talk about homeschooling now. Number 1, seek counsel and advice from your pastor. Number 2, don't do it if to escape the cost. Don't do that. Number 3, if either parent's not qualified, then don't do it. Number 4, maintain discipline. You've got to maintain discipline. Number 5, be a part of church activities. This is part of seeking counsel from the pastor, because I would want the youth director had activities for the kids. I want my kids involved in it. You have a basketball team, flag football, volleyball, I want my kids to be a part of that. I want a bunch of different sets of eyes looking at my kids. They said, why, my little Oswald, he never lied to me. Oh, brother. This horse ain't going to run very far in this race. Somewhere in here, you're going to have to understand they need to go to camp. They need to be on a basketball team. They need to be on a volleyball team. They need to have flag football or regular football. They need to have something where there's a different set of eyes, where the youth director can say to the parent, I've noticed this about your son. Yeah, you need to be able to have that. Or a camp director, so I did talk to you about your son's, what he did at camp. You understand what I'm saying? And have them involved on a bus route. That way the bus captain can give you another set of eyes on them. The more sets of eyes you have, they'll fool you. That little kid will fool you. That little darling will fool you. Yes, they will. And you need another set of eyes to tell you what you're not going to find out yourself. We're talking about homeschooling. I'm for education, Christian education. You know that. All right. Number 1, seek counsel and advice from your pastor. Number 2, don't do it to escape the cost. Number 3, if either parent is not qualified, then don't do it. Next, if there's no discipline, you can't discipline the time and the courses and so on. And I think the best thing is to match it up with your Christian school, what they're doing, so that you don't want them to go around and say, well, we were done at noon. And these other kids say, I'm stuck here till 3. So be a part of church activities. You need a different set of eyes. Look at that kid. Number 6, if dad's not the leader of the home, don't do it. Now, mama, daddy, if he's henpecked, if he's henpecked, don't do it. You make sure now that you're the leader. So dad's not the leader in the home, don't do it. Next, most homeschooling, mama rules the roost, and mama runs it. And she's the only one that kid's going to respect to authority, because that's all the authority he knows. You just need different authorities in their life. Have your children tested academically. At our place, our Christian school, we tested all the kids to see how we were doing. We were always far above what the public school scores were. And but you have your kids tested. Get a hold of the principal of the school with your pastor's permission and say, look, will you test my kids? Because you want to know if you're being successful at what you're doing or not successful. And I believe that you ought to have them tested. Number 8, do not have less standards than the church standards. Don't have less standards than the church standards. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not have less standards than the church standards. Whatever the church standards are, you know what they are. Then you make sure that they're equal with your kids. Not less, but the same standard. If you want to be stricter, that's okay too. We had families that didn't own a television set. My wife wouldn't like that. She likes Barney Fife. In fact, she can start the beginning of a episode, stop it, explain to me what's going to happen, and then watch it. I always thought that was kind of curious. But she said, I see things I never saw before. All right, we're talking about homeschooling now. Number one, seek counsel and advice from your pastor. Don't do it if it's to escape the cost of education. Next, if either parent is not qualified, don't do it. Number four, make sure you're disciplined. I just tell you what I would do. I would find out the schedule for my Christian school and I'd duplicate it. I don't want them using this to say, ha, 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 we got out at noon. I don't want any of that. And all you're doing, if I can finish this up by noon, I won't have to work on that. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Take the same days off that they take off in your Christian school. Be a part of the church activity. Be a part of the church activities. You need different sets of eyes on your kid. If dad's not the leader of the home, don't do it. If your dad is impact, I don't have to necessarily say my husband's impact, but then don't do it, because dad's got to be the authority, not mom. And most homeschooling failures is because mom became the authority and no other parent, no other adult could touch the hem of her garment. All right. Then have your children tested. Ask the principal of the school. Talk to the pastor first. Do it. Do not have less standards than the church standards. Well, that's it. Homeschooling. And if I've made you mad, it's bgraysr@me.com. But you're going to have to get in line. Brother House said, I thought when I got to the end of my life, I'd be a patriarch. I thought I could just go around clipping coupons. He said, I didn't know I was going to fight till the day I die. Well, that's just the way that it is. God bless you. Minister Moments, YouTube, every week, 3:00 Central Time. Also, Minister Moments podcast. That's important. And then the Solve Church Problems site. You can subscribe there. God bless you. Great day soul winning tomorrow. Take advantage of it.